All right, so this is going to be a brief tutorial in how I use Zotero and also how to install Zotero and kind of where you can integrate it. And Zotero is just the program that I use for not only reading all of my different articles that I use for my PhD and master's, but it's also where I house all those PDFs for when I'm writing about them, so I can use it for a citation manager. And to download Zotero, it's really easy. All you need to do is go to zotero.org and hit download, and it should work pretty seamlessly for Windows and Mac. You'll need to run the installer, and once it's installed, it should look something like this. And what you'll notice is in here, each of these rows is a different PDF that I've saved. And each of these rows has all of the metadata on that article, including the abstract, the authors, the title, and it houses the PDF and sometimes a snapshot, which is a little different from the PDF. But the nice thing about this is that within the Zotero program, you can not only view the PDF, but you can highlight things and you can take notes on your highlights. You can highlight certain sections and take notes on the highlighted sections. You can leave little sticky notes for yourself and leave comments. So it's a really good place for you to kind of annotate your articles. The other way in which it's really helpful is for citing things, as I mentioned before. And there's a few different ways in which you can cite things within different word processors. The most basic version is you can just right click on the entry. You can go to create bibliography for item and you'll be able to select your citation style. You can click citation, which is an in-text citation, or bibliography, which is the longer kind of end of paper citation. And then for me, I just have it copy it to my clipboard. And then I can go over to my Word document and then I can throw that in. Perfect. The other nice thing about Zotero is that it has integrations for Microsoft Word and for Google Docs. And sometimes it will automatically be installed into your Microsoft Word. Sometimes you'll have to custom install it, in which case you just kind of have to Google Zotero for Word. It'll kind of walk you through things. You may have to manually install it, but it's not that hard, even though this looks intimidating. And within Zotero, or within Word, then you can use this Zotero section. And the reason that this is nice is, let's say I type out a sentence and I want to cite it, then I can just go up here to add or edit citation, and it pops up this little box. And I can just type in the author that I'm trying to cite. And in fact, I can type in multiple authors. And when I hit enter, it will not only organize them in the convention of the citation style I'm using, so APA 7, but it will also later allow me to, so if I still have this section in my paper when I'm done writing, then I can go to add/edit bibliography. And it will organize and cite these in the citation style I've selected with a lot of accuracy. In fact, I very rarely find issues in the way that it cites some of these things. So that's with Word. With Google Docs, it's much the same, where you can have a Zotero plugin. And within here, you're going to be able to use the Add Edit Citation button much in the same way as Word. Now, the question that probably should have preceded this whole how you use Zotero is, how do you even get files into Zotero? And there's a few different ways, some more convenient than others. On the most basic level, if you download a PDF from an academic website, you can just throw it, let's get rid of that. You can just throw it directly into Zotero. So in this case, I'm just going to get rid of all of the entries I have, and I'm just going to drag this article that I'm wanting to add to my Zotero in. And what it's going to do is it's initially going to just have the PDF in there, but then what it's going to do is it's going to find the metadata for that article and retrieve all of this extra information, so then I can cite it like my other articles, which is very convenient. The other thing that's nice is then if I delete this article on my desktop, it still is housed within the program, meaning that If you right click on it, you can have it show where it is in the files. And you see that it's located within, I've nested my Zotero within my Google Drive, but it's within the Zotero program, so you don't have all of those files plugging up your desktop. The more easy way to do that is just straight from the web. And so you can install something called the Zotero connector, which is a plugin for Chrome, which will pop up here. If you don't see it pop up right away, you may just have to pin it. But what that means, oh, did I click on something? What that means is if we are looking up articles, so right now I'm researching heart rate variability and emotional experience. And if I want to cite this 2006 journal, or let's find a different one that's got a PDF. Here's one from 2012 that I'll cite. If I just pull up the PDF, oh, this is a bad example. Let's try this. Let's do this first one. So if we pull up the PDF, and you can either download it to your desktop at this point, or using the Zotero plugin that we now have, we could just hit this button that says Save to Zotero. And what it does is it'll be initially gray, but once it's got the PDF, it will highlight it. And in this case, it's going to my library. I can also designate subfolders. But then if I pop over here into my library, it now has that saved, much in the same way as me just dragging it in. Sometimes on this end of things, it'll ask you to like sign in to your Zotero, which you just need to like create an account. It's free, just so that it knows what program it's placing it into. But that makes saving articles super easy. And for those of you who are wondering, it does work with Sci-Hub, depending on your ethics regarding using that. But that's how I use Zotero to pull articles into my program. The final thing that I want to highlight about Zotero, which is how I use it as an organizational tool. So a lot of people, when they use, like, they'll use Google Sheets or Excel to organize lit reviews, they will have subsheets or subfolders for different types of articles. And you can use Zotero much in the same way. So for instance, what I do for like my class readings is I have each of my graduate seminar readings put into Zotero. And then when I take notes on the different readings, then I can just pull it up in class and look at the areas in which I have made notes. So it's super helpful in that way. I also use it a lot for the psychological measures that I have, and I'm in the process of making all of these, but it's really convenient for when you have not only the measure itself, so in this case, this is the SSSQ with, this is the validation, but I also have the questionnaire itself. And the reason that this is nice is because then when you're citing things, you don't have everything under kind of one confusing sheet. You can kind of split it apart by the different entries that you have for the different measures. So I've got like my questionnaire entry. I've got the validation entry in here. For some of these other ones, I have a few validation entries. And in this way, it's just contained within a subfolder, which you can always just add by adding a subcollection. So I think it's really convenient for organizing things by project, by class, by psychological measures, whatever you want to do with it. So that's just generally how I use Zotero. If you have any questions, you're welcome to, I guess, leave a comment or you can email me. But the program's really great. I really like using it, and hopefully it'll be useful to you too.